This episode of Partners Project is brought to you by lynda.com. Want to know where your favorite YouTube stars go to learn their tricks? lynda.com has tutorials on shooting, editing, special effects, and more. Go to lynda.com/partnersproject for your free 7-day trial right now. Hello, welcome to the Partners Project. We are coming to you from Catalyst headquarters for the Comedy Idea Jam. And look who's here. Shirley Todd from Improv Everywhere. It's so exciting to have you. I'm such a fan of all your videos.
Oh, thanks.
Because I email you after everyone comes out and I'm
This
like,
is true.
It's going viral, I need to talk to you. Let's go through, I guess, your top favorite videos.
Okay. Improv Everywhere's most viewed video on YouTube is Frozen Grand Central. And it has about 25 million views right now. For that project, we had 200 people go into Grand Central Terminal, the train terminal in New York, and freeze in place at exactly the same second for 5 minutes. And that's something that's been replicated in like hundreds of cities around the world, which is really exciting.
I can't move my cot. I need some help. Never mind. They're moving.
Let me think. Some of my other favorites. This is sort of an older, obscure video that maybe everybody doesn't know. But in 2005, we did a fake U2 concert. I used to live in an apartment in Madison, across the street from Madison Square Garden. U2 was playing at MSG, the concert arena, and I had access to my roof, 4-story building, and my roommate was a drummer.
You started a concert on your roof.
Yeah, so U2 is known for these surprise rooftop gigs. So before an actual U2 show at the Garden, I had my 4 buddies who were in a band dress up like U2, put all their equipment and their instruments up on the roof, and play 5 U2 songs. By the end of it, there were 500 people in the street. I mean, we do things that cause a scene in a public place, and I think the people who watch our channel really like seeing the reactions.
Tell me how it all got started. How did Improv Everywhere begin?
So Improv Everywhere started almost 10 years ago. I ended up playing a prank in a bar one night with some friends, and where I pretended to be the musician Ben Folds, which it was very simple. Like we entered the bar separately, and then after about a half hour of me drinking alone at the bar, my friend came up to me from across the room and said, "Oh my God, you're Ben Folds, I'm a huge fan, can I have an autograph?" Signed a cocktail napkin for him. But he said it loudly enough that everybody in the bar heard it. So then other people got autographs, people took pictures with me, the bartender started giving me free drinks. So I was just this 22-year-old kid who had just moved to New York, and I was like, oh, I like this, so I can
pretend to be people and prank everyone.
So I got excited about the idea of creating comedy in public places that is sort of invisible, where the people don't even necessarily know they're a part of something.
I mean, it's just so interesting how you come up with these ideas. They're so creative. What's your process?
I get a lot of ideas emailed to me. It's pretty ridiculous. Probably 4 to 5 ideas a day, come to my inbox. And 99.9% of those ideas I've either heard before or I don't like them, but every now and then an idea comes through that's just like, oh, this is incredible. For example, back in 2006, I had a high school kid from Texas email me, "You should get as many people as possible to put on blue polo shirts and khaki pants and go into a Best Buy and stand around." I wrote him back immediately and was like, yeah, I do need to do that. Thank you. And the next weekend we went out and did it in a Best Buy in New York. How
do you get so many people together at once, coordinating in the right way? Because this is one of those things, you one take.
So we have a video called Star Wars Subway Car, where Princess Leia gets onto the subway. At the next stop, stormtroopers get on. And find her and take her to the doors, and the doors open and Darth Vader steps on. You know, we did that because it was site specific. It was like the white walls of the subway. It looked like the ship from the opening scene of Star Wars. But so that day, like, we did it probably 5 times, which was a lot of work coordinating all the subway stops, like, you know. But we did it 5 times, and then the video that you see on YouTube, it's mostly from one take. The performances from the actors are mostly in one take, but we'll use reactions from all of the different ones.
I want to know what happened to the friends they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And what about the one with the underwear?
The No Pants Subway Ride is probably one of our most well-known projects, and that's an annual event. It happens every January. We just had the 10th annual No Pants Subway Ride this past January.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's expanded. I mean, the idea is very simple. The original idea was, what if you were sitting on a subway car and in the middle of winter, and a guy got on with no pants?
What's going on with the no pants? Oh, I forgot my pants.
Wearing underwear, but you know, also wearing winter coat, hat, gloves, scarf, you know.
Yeah.
And so in New York you see a weirdo all the time, so that's sort of weird. But then at the next stop, separately, another guy gets on in his underwear.
Yeah.
And they don't act like they know each other, and they claim it's a coincidence if you ask them. That was the original idea, and it just has grown over the years. This past year in New York, we had 3,500 people participate. And women as well, men, women, old people, young people, white people, black people, like totally diverse slice of New York participating. And it also happened in 50 other cities around the world. And they create their videos and upload them to YouTube too. So it's sort of become like an international holiday.
It's a movement, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movement that has no movement behind it besides like it's funny. You know.
How do you keep it secret?
Generally, I won't reveal what it is until it's in person. So if it is something where I am using a large crowd of people, I won't tell them what they're doing. So the Best Buy project is a good example. So I told people, if you want to participate in our next event, wear a blue polo shirt and khaki pants and meet at this park at this time. And the park was like a 10-minute walk from Best Buy. It wasn't like right next door to it. Oh, and I also said, bring a newspaper. And that was just a misdirect. When everybody got there, it was like, okay, first thing, throw your newspaper away. But I just wanted to include something extra so people wouldn't immediately go Best Buy, you know?
Do you have any inspirations or people that you looked up to in the comedy world? I mean, I guess you mentioned SNL and all that.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman was a big inspiration for me. I read a book about him that his writing partner Bob Zamunda wrote called Andy Kaufman Revealed. I read that in college, and there's all sorts of stories about them creating, you know, just pranks at like diners on the side of the road at 2 a.m. You know, and just one of them going in and the other one going in later, and then they get into a fight or dump water on the other person's head or something. And, you know, our style is a little bit different than Kaufman's, but sort of it opened my eyes to the possibility of creating comedy or theater absolutely anywhere.
It's just the king wanted to stand in front of his painting. He's very excited that it's recently been restored.
So where do you see the future of all this? Where is Improv Everywhere headed?
You know, we made a television pilot in 2007 for NBC actually, and it was a ton of fun to make. I'm really proud of the projects that we did with it, but it wasn't picked up. And at the time, you know, it was very disappointing. But we're at a place now where we don't necessarily need a television.
You have the control.
Yeah, I don't have anyone giving me notes. I don't have to cater to sponsors. I don't have to cater to like the legal department of a network or the executives. I'm able to do exactly what I want to do, the way I want to do it, with my friends immediately, and then put it out there directly for my fans, rather than like waiting 6 months for it to go through development and air. So not to say that I wouldn't like to do a television show at some point, but I think the definition of a television show is starting to change, and I'm excited to see like the web and television finally figure out how it's going to work together. And hopefully, you know, we'll be in a pretty good place, you know, on YouTube.
And the ideas, it's about the ideas in the end though, right?
Yeah, and that's the real longevity of Improv Everywhere, is coming up with new ideas, rather than being like, oh, well, Frozen Grand Central was popular, so let's do a bunch of videos every month where people freeze in place. Like, you know, maybe I could have tried to ride that wave for a little while, it would have been popular, but it would have become a fad and would have been passe. Whereas if we're always coming up with a new idea that's surprising people and is original, then you can keep doing it.
Charlie, it was great to talk to you today and pick your brain about Improv Everywhere.
Well, thanks for having me, Shira.
Yes, and thanks to all of you for watching. We all couldn't be doing
guys.
what we love.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. And we'll see you next
Subscribe
week.
to this channel and my channel too.
And this channel. We'd like to thank our sponsor, lynda.com. Go to lynda.com/partnersproject for your free 7-day trial right now. Subscribe to Improv Everywhere right here. Subscribe to us right here. And of course, stay tuned next week. We are talking to Good Neighbor. Ask all your questions for them in the comments below. See you soon.